Hey everybody, today I'm going to show how I ripped off the tub and chucked on a tray on a next-gen Ranger Raptor. Also put in a trundle, under tray toolbox, a water tank and a few other goodies. I also got a couple of other trays that are different sizes, just for comparison if you're doing something similar. I'll run through all the brackets I used, how I did it, part numbers of different bits and pieces, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, quick rundown of the parts. The tray's a Triple M heavy duty tray, 1800 by 1800. And the trundle is a Stonegate Industries. This is the last one with one handle. All the newer ones have two handles, which is dumb. Don't know why they do that, so I'm glad I got this one. I'll show you the part number of the tray. Came off a Hilux, obviously. They're all very similar. Here's a shot of the brackets that I whipped up, and the crossbars, and how the trundle's installed underneath. These guards were just a last minute marketplace find. My boy Lee on the sunny coast whipped it up, thank you very much. I bought it on the 1st. I decided to do a tray conversion at Christmas time when all the businesses are shut, so not the best idea. Yep, it's a vomit bag, don't judge, it's temporary. The water tank is a Huntsman 35 litre slimline headboard water tank. There weren't many options, but this one fits nicely between the headboard brackets. And also got brand new ladder rack, and these toolboxes will go on at a later date. They open up the whole side, unlike those ones that used to be on my tub. Also got some fresh mud flaps. If I would do anything different, there's a few mud guards available that you can order from major companies. Just would have liked if there was an extra tab bent down so that these hang straight. I did make these quick release. Might actually show you. I'm still adjusting fitment and whatnot. These can come out another 25 mil. I've got them spaced in. Yeah, it kind of looks like too much leg day with these 35s. Man, one-handed working time is not very fun, but just show you the guards. Pretty basic, just got some 25 mil box. That's my main bracket. I can adjust the offset quite easily. Use an existing hole here, and then a couple of others for strength. So if I run different wheels, different offsets, I can do the guards however I like. Yeah, that's that. I'll show you the trundle. With this trundle, the clearance is very tight at the top here. Just had to lower the faceplate a little bit. That's why there's an extra pop rivet here. I just offset it by about 2 or 3 mil. And now it's beautiful. I think this is 1600 long. It's one of the longer trundles, and it goes all the way up to underneath the headboard and underneath the water tank. Got the essentials, got the TP and a Shiwi. Let's go. With the trundle and all the toolboxes going on and whatnot, and a filler cap, I didn't want to have 3000 keys, so I made a little central locking system inside the back of the trundle. And the little cable that comes out there will just go to the fuel filler cap or the tailgate trigger, just to lock the trundle when I use the central locking. Obviously at a later date, I'm going to delete all that, move the sensors up into the bottom lip of the tray. Same with the radar and reverse cam. Here's a quick look of how the locking mechanism goes together. Got some 40mm box, made a few holes in it to make it work. This little bit slides in here. I'll have a notch out for where the latch locks into. This is a standard off-the-shelf actuator. It'll go inside there, attach to this, and the latch will go up the top there. And when it actuates, it'll move with the bit that latches and is open, so it behaves like a normal car door. Just got some nut certs on the bottom here, so if it does ever fail or something goes wrong, I can unbolt the whole assembly from the bottom and pull it forwards. I had a little bit of an issue with the lock assembly bouncing around a little bit when it got towards the end. So these were the original spacers, smooth, and they had a pretty high clearance. I tightened it up by printing off a few different batches with different clearances, and I found a bit that worked. And I also lubricated them with a bit of lanolin, just because that's what I have laying around. But now it moves pretty good. I'll give you a demo with some power. Alright, this is it. Obviously unlocked. Move backwards and forwards easily. This is it locked. If the drawer happens to be open, locks into place, easy peasy. And while it's in the closed position, can unlock it and lock it quite easily. Alright, here's the final test before I close it all up. Looks pretty good. I just extended the actuator cable with some round double insulated flex. Used a push-in grommet, make it nice and snug and watertight. What I'll do is I'll drill a hole here and thread it and put a little bolt in there so that if water does accumulate in there from a river crossing, I can just drive up a bit of a hill, take that out and let it drain so it doesn't get stank. Alright, now it's time to install. Alright, I'm just doing a bit of a test fit up and I'm pretty happy with where it's sitting now. I want it pushed in as far as possible to have the maximum departure angle so I don't destroy it off-road. At the headboard here, I got it sitting roughly flush with the water tank as it's going to get mounted. Just going to chuck some aluminium angle down here, and then I can have that adjustable too if I want the tap a little bit higher. I'll see what it's like when it's sitting on the actual Raptor. It fits in pretty much perfect. The most important thing is that the top lid opens up because I have it recessed a little bit. So also, if this gets a little bit too snug after it's bolted in, these pop rivets can get drilled out easily and it can be slightly adjusted, and then I'll probably weld it when it's in its final resting position. So that's it fully extended. And with the lid open. So I reckon that's pretty much just the way I want it. Got plenty of clearance up the top there. Alright, now I'm going to flip the tray upside down, bolt the toolbox to it. Here's a quick look at the lights as they're getting wired up. Pretty sure you can get these pre-wired, but I didn't see them until after I already bought these. So if you have to do it yourself, all your negatives just got to join up, obviously, so you only have
one cable going into your connector. Use Raycam if you got it, gives a good weather tight seal. These are going to be covered in mud and water, so don't want any light problems. The connectors I got with the loom, they look a little bit weird and they don't fit very good. I'm not sure they're knockoffs. These are genuine Dochis. So I'm just going to replace them so I don't have any connection problems. And then then I'll just loom it up, make it look pretty, bolt them back in place. And that's the electrical side of this thing's done. And we'll get to the radar stuff later. I just pulled my tail light out to have a look at the radar module or blind spot sensor to figure out what I want to do with it. To pull the light off, it's 2 screws, torque screws, pretty easy, and then just use some trim tools to push it backwards gently. Mine was pretty stuck in there, but you'll get it. Just be gentle so you don't chip plastic. Then you just got 4 screws to open up the back of the light, and that's your radar module. It has 4 little tabs. I'll pull it out and give you a better look. Once you got your radar module loose, it literally slides out of these 4 little tabs. Just keep tension on it, slides out nice and easy. Unplug it. This is the adapter loom that I got, and you wouldn't believe it, fits. So now I'm going to get in touch with Triple M aluminium tray bodies. They have a really nice bracket that's integrated into the side of the heavy duty tail light protectors, and see if we can make something work. So with these interface brackets between the crossbar and the actual tray, they're 55mm OD U channel, which is a very uncommon size. They're probably custom made, but they're not that easy to bend up because they're actually quite deep. So I think I was overcomplicating things, and I just got some 50x50 box tube, similar wall thickness, and I'm just going to chuck these in. It's a nice snug fit all the way around, and I'll just transpose all the holes across, drill them, paint them, and I think that'll be equal to or significantly stronger than Triple M spec. All the brackets are whipped up. Just drilled some larger holes on the other side to make putting through sockets and spanners easy to nip up the bolts. Made a simple little 3D printed spacer to compensate for the thickness of this material, so when I bolt it together it doesn't bow or flex. Not really needed. You can make it out of metal, whatever you want. I just have a 3D printer handy, which makes it quicker and easier for me. So fit up's beautiful, and this will slide in. Sometimes there's a little bolt on the other side. You gotta watch out for that. Right, that's the rough game plan. This will obviously sit flush with the edge there. And I can do it on all 6 corners. I'm just going to use the same mounting positions as how it came from a Hilux. Then I'll hover the tray over the Raptor and just adjust the brackets to suit the Raptor pickup points. The only thing that's a little bit different is I got 2 Hilux trays, and one has a slightly different elevated front section and the other one is the same as the others, but I'll let you know how I get it fit up. So let's go. Alright, all the upright brackets are installed. I'm glad I made these little spacers. It helps heaps with keeping it all square. Easy to access the bolts through the nice big holes. This triangulated bracket's still a bit loose until I make sure everything's in the correct position, and I'll just drill it to wherever it fits. And I'll also probably have to adjust the front one to suit, but we'll find that out once it goes on the actual Raptor. But now I'm just going to flip it upside down, do the water tank, and chuck it on the car. Here's a quick visual of the smaller tray with a 1200 toolbox.
and a milk crate and a pack out just to visualize it. So toolbox is 1200. Still got about 440 left, 1650 internal, and about 1710 width-wise. So just a little visual of what a smaller tray looks like. And now I'll put this 1200 box into the bigger tray, the 18 by 1800, and I'm just trying to decide if I want to commit to a 1200 or 1400 toolbox. Still have a little bit of space on the back. So this is the 18 by 1800 tray, the one that I'm going to actually use. Milk crate's roughly in the same spot, and I just chucked a ladder rack in there for a visual. Extra 150 or 200 mil actually does help a fair bit, especially since I'm going to try and chuck a bike on the back. Yeah, and I think this will be the setup. Alright, this is a quick fit up with my bike on the back. Just for reference, it's a Suron Ultra HP. People refer to it as a 3/4 bike, so not as big as a 350 or a 450. And it can maybe just squeeze in there. I'll have to try it when it's installed on the ute and see how gnarly it is getting it in and out. But if that doesn't work, it's going to move the ladder rack to hard up against the toolbox, and then I can chuck my bike on and off the back without having to move the ladder rack, which will have a 270-degree awning permanently mounted to it. As for the water tank, I'm going to chuck it in behind the headboard here. It's a Huntsman 35 litre from memory. The reason I chose this one, it's got nice cutouts on each side that make it nice and slim. Kind of wish it was maybe a little bit bigger capacity, but it's kind of the smart thing for GVM, so I don't push it too hard. I rated my alley pipe and found some 50 by 50. I think it's 3 mil thick, just to make some brackets on each side. So oh, look at that. Almost like we planned for it to sit there. So the fit's nice and easy. At least 30 or 40 mil play each way. And yeah, that's really slim. Not going to have any issues with cab clearance. And just going to make some simple brackets there. Tray's ready to go in. Cleaned up the shed a little bit, so a little bit more room to wrangle this tub and tray around. Water tank sorted. The water tank bosses accept about a 20 mil M8 bolt if you use a spring and a flat. I ran out, so I ordered a box. They're on the way. Pretty happy with the fitment. Turned out really good. Extension brackets are all really good. May shuffle them around a little bit, see how the Raptor fits up. But yeah, time to put this tray to the side, take the tub in, rip it off, chuck it on, job done. All right, I think I'm ready to nearly pull the tub off, so I thought it's a good opportunity to show you what's involved. You don't have to take the lights out, but I need to pinch the radar modules out of it, so I took them out. There's a simple little plug up there on the chassis rail, and then on this side you also disconnect your tub light and 12-volt panel. You do have to pull your inner guard out just to access all the fuel stuff. So I disconnected the lock mechanism electrical. There was a 8 mil bolt there that I ripped off, and the whole fuel neck seems to be loose. Hopefully this capless thing just pulls through the rubber grommet. And a little clip here. So this is a bit of a pain. You do have to pull the guard off because it's all fixed in underneath. The driver's side is much easier. There's hardly anything there. You just unplug the same
same connector there, and that's the same connector where the new loom comes onto when you're going to tray tail lights. Just show you the tail lights. It's just a couple of clips that you gotta pop off. When you are removing them, the easiest way to remove it is to get a trim tool, put a light amount of pressure there, and then it pops off these two little things backwards. And then, yeah, that's about it. They're just your 6 bolts that hold the tub down. And don't judge my rigging, but I'm just using some 2.5 ton straps on my hoist, and pretty sure the whole car's loose, ready to come off. But also, in case I forgot to mention earlier, when removing the lights, there are I think 230 Torx or something you got to remove. Don't just reef it back, they do have to come out. Alright, I'll show you a little stitch up. So I thought everything was sweet on this side, but there's like a little cable that does nothing. So yeah, you can't see that loop without removing the inner guard, and that plug does nothing, but it is attached to the tub. So just something to keep in mind. Pretty annoying, but I'm pretty sure that's the last little speed bump before the whole tub comes off. Alright, now we're 100% floating and loose off the chassis. Not sure if I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a little plug here I may have forgot. Camera and tailgate stuff. It's pretty easy to access as it's coming up or from the inside. You can see here the right loom and the left loom. I'll show you the fuel neck. So with the fuel filler, this cable wraps through the guard and clips on, so just make sure that's loose and you're good. The whole fuel filler neck assembly slipped through this rubber really easy. I didn't even have to do anything, it just slipped through. And then the breather that was just clipped in on the bottom, I manually took that off, and I had one bolt holding this whole assembly on. I just rolled the car forwards just a little bit, just to make sure this doesn't ding up the cab too much, but yeah, finally there. For those of you that want to see what's underneath a tub or a tray on a Ranger, Raptor particularly, I'll just show you what's going on. Exhaust is pretty high up, so something to take note if you're building a custom tray or whatnot. Fuel filler neck's pretty basic, probably be able to use most of that, maybe shorten it and make a nice mount for it in a cap. Let's talk about dimensions. So for your brackets, what do we got there? 1300, 1290, 1290, and wouldn't you believe it, let's do a measure up here. Nice, 1290, 1290, and 1290. So that's pretty good news. Just make sure this is nice and square with a straight edge. So yeah, that's reasonably square. So sweet, that's pretty cool. We know that the brackets will fit now, that's pretty good. If anything, these are really easy to move across, and once it's all in position, I'll put the 45 triangulated brackets on to make it a bit stronger. Right, first little clash or thing they get stuck on is this bracket here. I think this is just a little factory plastic alignment tool to help things get installed quicker. And there was also one at that front right bracket. They just pop out easy. I've just got a little adjusting tool here. I'm just gonna
adjust it flat, and now that brace will go in fine. And I think we will have to just move this front one forward a little bit more, but I'll get it all looking pretty and then show you the progress. The tray's kind of bolted in place where I want it to be. A little bit closer than what I like here, maybe, I don't know, 25mm gap between the water tank and the back of the cab. Kind of dictated between the spacing of these holes, which might be about 20 or 25mm. So that's where that's sitting. The rear two brackets are fine. The front one needs a bit of attention. Oh, and also one other thing. All the these brackets aren't perfectly level, so I did have a few little packers here, but now it currently looks like a bent Navara chassis. So I'm gonna relocate these 3 spaces to the back, and it should look a little bit more normal. Alright, so this video is probably going to get a little bit too long. I'll do a part 2 on when the toolboxes go in, how I mount them. Probably going to have to 3D print some radar housings to bolt in the corner of the lights. Need to do something with this fuel filler cap. Probably going to make a little lockable door that's hooked into the central locking. I don't know. If you've got some ideas, drop them in the comment. Also, if you want any more info on particular pieces, let me know and I might cover it in the next video. And yeah, I'll go through the camera, the reverse sensor, and all the other little bits and pieces that take a long amount of time. So pretty quick and easy to get the tray on. It's only 6 bolts and the fuel filler and a couple of lights, but then all the finishing touches is what really takes some time. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the part 2.